Hello, everybody. Evening. Sunday Adelaja here. Rochelle White, Eric Osadolo. Good evening. Obi Ojimadu, Lola Aino, Fumi Jeboda, Mayowa. Good evening to you all. Adeleke, T.Y. Omonike, good evening. Daniel Atsenga, evening. Mike and Freeze, evening. She Sandra, good evening. Welcome everyone. Ojekwo Israel, welcome. Good evening. Charles Smith, Neki Okoro, evening. Nice to see you all. Joseph Oyewole, wow, long time. Nice to see you. Folashade Kikelomo, welcome, welcome. Nikki Kristen, welcome. Christina Bonda, Zeshto, Skoka Les Skoka Zim, Tibe Ojidam no net, Unas. Tinizahaji Waladam no. Right, we have it. Gladys Nchang, Flekari Matip, Modupe Oyewole, Shigo, Fumi Onifade, Ngoya Sharis. Where did you disappear to, Ngoya Sharis? It's been a while. It's been a while. Are you okay, or it's just New Year busyness, being busy for the New Year? Apostle Yomi is here. Dr. Sufficient BN is here. Dr. Sufficient is going to be my guest and my hero for tomorrow night, Saturday evening. So get ready, everybody, get ready. I'm going to be with her all day long tomorrow, because I'm going to first of all have the Ask Pastor Sunday program with her, and after that she will be coming right after that to do the direct program where I will be asking her the question. She's going to be the hero, and she'll be telling us all about her book. So if you have not yet ordered that book yet, she's actually doing that book at a giveaway price. So you might want to go and get your own copy of the book as fast as possible. All right. So here we go. And here we go. Lola Shoronke, welcome. Nkiru Jimadu, here you are. Nkiru, this is, I think, Nkiru and Obi, this might be, this topic might be just the right topic for you, because you have 3 teenagers in the house almost. Ooh, wow, that is you are champions. Okay. Maybe I should call this thing How to Survive Puberty. How to Survive Puberty. But that's not what I call it. I'm calling it parenting between in the age, it's children of puberty age. Parenting children of puberty age. Okay. I mean, that age could be from 11 to 15, to 17, especially teenagers. So, Father, bless this program, bless this session together, because this session is really very sensitive, and I need God's help. So, help us, Lord, in Jesus' name. Now, here we go. So, I want to talk to you about a few things, many things actually, in relations to puberty. Yeah. right. If you have shared the link, then we'll be ready to go. Then we'll be ready to go. I'm so embarrassed to talk about some of these things. Okay, let's start with the girls. What do you expect when puberty comes? Boobies and bras? I didn't even know how to start it. I don't know how I'm going to do this thing today. With the boys, it's easier for me, but let's start with the girls. Especially, so it could start for the girls anytime from the age of 9 to 13 or to 15. It could be in a whole range of difference. So there is something that is called estrogen. Estrogen. That's Russian language. Estrogen, and estrogen is what causes the the confusion in the hormones. And thanks to estrogen, it begins because when during the time of teenage years and the time of puberty, that the immune system begins to produce a lot of estrogen, and estrogen begins to flood into the body of both the girls and the boys. And as a result of that, estrogen begins to pump into the body of, we are talking about the girls now. So of the girl, estrogen begins to come into our body and pump into our body from our ovaries. The hormones that cause her to begin to bump up, and to grow. So the breast will begin to bud, and then little bumps behind the nipples, and then she begins to grow from there. So until the nipples and the buds will become bigger and bigger, sometimes darker, sometimes pointy, and until it's become fuller and round. So that is a process of a girl growing from a child baby girl into a woman. So that is the process of womanhood starting in the life of the little baby. So our boobs will feel a little tender, and but another thing that normally confuses children, girls, they could be worried that one breast might be bigger than the other initially, and but a mother should be there for her to comfort her and to give her encouragement that everything is okay and that the changes that she's experiencing are normal for her. So, but because of the hormones, a lot of hormones are not just coming to our breast or to our body or something, but hormones are going everywhere, especially to our brain. They are affecting our brain. So, let her know that these things are normal and they won't last forever, and that they just have to survive it. Yeah, TY is saying, Pastor Sunday, you are practically blushing. Oh, yes, since I've been doing this, my daily broadcast, I've never blushed. This is the first time because it's too much details for me to handle. But since I'm a teacher, I've got to do my job, yeah? So, sometimes, the mother might want to help her choose the best bra at this time, because some bras might cause her sensations or pain or be sensitive to her, especially on the beginning stage. I will not go into the details of the kind of bra she would need at this stage, but she could go to the shop, and also, they could help her to deal with that. For her, also, it's a little bit strange for a young girl that is undergoing that transformation, because she has to get used to her new body, especially if she's growing so fast and if the change is coming so rapidly, changing her from a girl to a woman. So the mother has to be there for her at this stage go through some studies with her and let her know that what she's going through is okay. Another thing that a girl, apart from those hormones producing estrogen that cause all the bubbling of the body of the girl, the other thing that she should expect at this point, it could happen between the age of 10 to 15, is menstruation. Now, everybody knows what is menstruation, so menstruation also is a topic that the girls will talk more about, but most menstruations for the girls start about 2 years after all the estrogens have gone to the body, and after the breast starts growing. So after the breast, 2 years later, they begin to have menstruation. And it could take some time for the menstruation to be steady. So you might need to teach them about that as well. It could take some time. It could take between, between 6 months to 2 years before they could have, steady menstruations. So mothers should really make sure that they are there for their daughters at this time, and help them to get used to what is happening to them. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to changes with the girls. Let's go to the boys first. I'm rushing this one to quickly finish with the girls and go to the boys now. Now let's talk about the boys, where I feel myself more at home. So what are the changes happening to the boys in the puberty age? At the time of puberty, the same thing happens, that the hormones begin to really work strongly and begin to, just in the ladies, it brings into the production of, or the increase in the estrogen brings, the growth in the breast and everything. But for the man, the puberty hormone is testosterone, and that leads to the hormones filling up his body, his whole body almost, especially where the muscles are. It becomes more muscular. It's around his shoulders, around his arms. They are filled up with muscles. Now, it begins to, and then it affects his voice. His voice becomes a little bit more husky. And sometimes, boys also begin to experience some change around their breast. And they must be able to know that is all in connection to the testosterone that is coming to the body. So, and sometimes the boys want to help the process because they like it. They like the change. They want to go and see themselves in the mirror, and sometimes they want to go to the gym and even try to work it out. But they don't need to do it artificially. They only need to eat properly, and that will be good enough for them. Now, what are the challenges that boys could face at this time? Boys might be tempted to begin to masturbate at this time. Now, even though masturbation is wrong, and we Christians believe that masturbation is sinful because it could become habitual, it could become a habit. But at this time, at the time of puberty, it is almost impossible for a child or a baby boy not to masturbate. In fact, I've seen young kids that because even if they don't masturbate, they will see themselves wet dreaming. They will have wet dreams in the sense that they will sleep and wake up and discover that they are wet. I remember in my own personal case, when I was a young man, when that happened to me, I was so frustrated because even when I was a Christian at 19, it happened. And I was thinking, my God, I've backslidden. I almost wanted to kill myself because I was afraid of sinning and things like that. And a lot of teenagers might be thinking that it's a sin because they had a wet bed. And they might be thinking that, oh God, I'm a Christian, why should this happen to me? But they must know that it is part of the changes that are happening in their bodies, and the effects of the testosterone in their bodies producing that process of turning them from a boy to a man. So we should rather talk to our children and let them know that they shouldn't be embarrassed about that, and they should take it easy. and they shouldn't live in self-condemnation that could lead them to, to depression. It could lead them to hating themselves. It could even lead them to falling away from God because they think that they are not good enough, or they are not good Christians, or they are backsliding, or they have failed God, or they have failed their parents. So we have to cool them down at this point and let them know that what they are going through is okay. So some other things that you have to talk about, of course, is the fact that both the girls and the boys will begin to experience growth of hair under their armpit at this time, and in some interesting places, and they will begin to notice that also, which is some of the things that are happening during the time of puberty. But the most important problem during puberty is with the stress that the children are going through, that the teenagers are going through, and especially the attitude changes, the change in attitude. And that could start from as early as 9, even 7 in some cases. Not 9, most likely from 9 or 11. So the hormones will begin to change not just their bodies, but it goes straight to their brains as well. And it affects their emotions. And they will begin to be more, unstable in their emotions and in their feelings. They begin to become more sensitive. They begin to become more moody. But this is both for the men and for the girls and the boys, okay? They begin to be more intense. They begin to be more suspicious of their parents, and they are more comfortable with their friends and their colleagues and their, classmates and things like that. So they have mood swings, and they are easily irritable. So these things, they have to be told to them. It's better to warn the kids and to let them know that these things will happen, so that they will expect it and know that it is not that they are bad. And it is also important for their parents to know that the children are not bad, even though they are experiencing this kind of challenges right now. And the parents shouldn't take all these irritations and swinging moods personal. They shouldn't think that they're just acting crazy, both the girls and the boys. Another thing they do is that they begin to look for autonomy, for independence, kind of. They want to be on their own. And some of them are just in the computer or TV. And so if you don't respond properly as parents, they could think that you are rejecting them. And it's easy for them, for them to feel rejected. So it's better for the parents to be much more accommodating and much more, nicer, and give more understanding to them at this time. Instead of correcting them and accusing them or abusing them, just be more understanding to them. Okay, another thing that the puberty hormones does, like I said, is that the hair begin to come up in public places, right, and in interesting places, and so that is okay, but you want to teach them to wash after them, to look after themselves, to when to shave and all that, but like all those changes, the physical things are not the things that I'm going to pay too much attention to. I want to pay more attention to the attitude changes and the stress that comes with puberty. So the hard ones, thank God, I'm over with that. I quickly rush over that, and let's go and talk about how to deal with it. How should the parents and even the children deal with this period of stress that comes during the time of puberty? Like I said, there are so much hormones that are being released into the body of these children, and the intensity of it when they go through puberty causes changes to come to them, and for them to experience changes on a daily basis. They are basically changing daily, and the rate of that change is what they cannot deal with. They are used to being children, and that period of change is so intense that all the hormones that are coming to the body, the new hormones give them new experiences that genuinely affect their view of the world. It's changing their view of the world. And it's not because they want to change or they want to change their view of the world or they are not prepared. It's just something that they don't control. It's more than what they can control. It affects their mental health. And it will affect the mental health of the parents also, because so many changes and so many swings in mood and so many unpredictability that the parents could, some parents are thinking they are running mental. They think their children are running mental, and they too. So sometimes parents of children who are teenagers in puberty might be as stressed up as the children themselves. So what I'm going to talk about is how to deal with the anxiety that comes from puberty or in their teenage children, and what they could do to help their children and to cope with what is happening. So, number one, let's start with the parents. How should the parents cope with this time of this trying time in the life of their children? Number one thing that a parent is supposed to pay attention to is to know and be forewarned that these children are going to have behavioral changes. They are going to change in behavior, not always to the right, not always to the best direction. Their behaviors will probably change in the very challenging area, in the wrong direction. So challenging behaviors is what the parents will have to deal with. So many teenagers become more hostile, like I had said. Many of them become more aggressive, and many of them become more withdrawn, and many of them actually become more dominant. They want to be more dominant. They want their opinions to be stronger and to be more accepted than their parents' opinion. They want to reject their parents' opinion and embrace their own. And this is just the way they react. So different children will react differently to the hormones that are coming to their body. So it is because of the pressure of those hormones, the puberty hormones that are coming to the body, that is causing them to react that way. Unfortunately, the parents might not find this very easy. So I will first of all talk about the things to expect and then how to deal with it. So number two thing, apart from the challenging behavior, the number two thing that a parent should expect are new behaviors that child was not manifesting before. So challenging behaviors, then new behaviors that you are not seeing in him before, new tendencies that was not manifesting, you begin to see them. For example, he might begin to develop sexual interest. The boys and the girls might want to begin to dress more attractively, to begin to look out, to want to hang out with their friends and go and sleep over and things like that, or go to party or things. So all those things have to be managed very well by the parents. Another thing that you might not have seen in them before that they will begin to manifest is their desire to be independent of their parents. They want to live their own lives. Sometimes they close the doors in their rooms. They will begin to listen to funny music and just taking interest in very scary things for the parents, things that parents don't want their children to be involved with. So these are things that we have to manage as well. And of course, they have a wide range of emotions that are changing often and that they themselves do not even expect, and they don't even know how to control too. So to the parents, this looks very strange and foreign because the parents have known these children from childhood all their lives, and they have never seen them exercise those kind of behaviors. So if the parents are not well prepared, they could be worried and be concerned. So but to be forewarned is to be prepared. So the parents, if you know what this means and that these are just things that happen because you yourself passed through that, then you'll be able to have more patience with your child and be able to tell him what is happening to him for him to understand it. Some children even commit suicide at this age, at the puberty age, because they don't know how to deal with it, and then they're having too much pressure from their parents. So a lot depends on the guardians or the parents, whoever is there in their life. Then another thing that happens to them at this stage is that it's normally the time they are finishing their high school, or they are in the senior classes of their high school. So they have busy schedules. They are normally very busy, and they themselves add a lot of social engagements to their schedules. And so another thing that parents have to deal with is that they go out a lot, and they hang out a lot with their classmates or their peers, and they get busy, so busy that it might be a conflict with the parents wanting the children to help at home or to do some regular things that they normally do, and then they will feel they are being controlled and they don't want to do those things, and that could bring a little bit of stress and confrontation. So it's important for the parents to be able to manage that well as well. So anxiety is another thing. During the time of puberty, the children become anxious. They have the anxiety becomes almost like a disease, and he's worried about some things. He has fear attacks. He begins to be concerned about his look, about if he's good enough, beautiful enough, not beautiful enough. He's going to be accepted by his friends, not accepted. A lot of challenges begin to come his way from that, and sometimes the parents are contributing to that also, because they have disagreement and lack of understanding and things like that, and that could lead to a lot of tension in the family. Another thing that parents in particular have to deal with is the fact that parents could be feeling that they are having a loss, that they are going to lose their child, and that fear also is there. They might think that they are, they might lose him, he's misbehaving or he's behaving funny. And also, on the level of the subconscious, the parents will be feeling that this child is growing up now and is going to leave the home. He's going to leave the home for college or for marriage or for independent and autonomous life. So that also brings psychological attack and pressure on the parents, and that's another thing that the parents have to deal with. So what should the parents do in these cases? What should the parents do? First of all, the parents have to make sure that they maintain their peace, their sanity, and the atmosphere of peace in the house. They have to try their best to be stress-free, to make sure that there's no aggression in the family. So, because that way they are creating the right atmosphere for the child to be able to cope with the amount of hormones and the emotions and the anxiety that he is going through. So the parents are encouraged to avoid all kind of conflict, confrontation, and aggression with in relations with the children. And the parents also are encouraged not to give too much demands on the children at this point, and not to be too authoritarian at this point. Be more friendly and give more liberty and more freedom, and let them know that they could always talk to you. Just be more available to them than to control them. Just make sure that you are more available. Just tell them you are there for them, and that they could always come to you. Ask them questions, but give them the liberty either to answer or not to answer. So what are the other things that you could do as a woman? Make sure that you joke with them, and you create a happy environment around them. Not joke with them because they might misunderstand that, but laugh with them. I think that's a better word to say. Laugh with them more. Find activities that will engage them, that they will like, that will take them out of the house, that will take them out of their normal routine, that they will have fun. This is the time that they want to have fun. But it's better for you to do fun with them, to have fun with them, than to let them just go on and have their own fun. They could fall in the wrong hands and have fun in the wrong way, the way that you will not like. So, give room for them to express some of their emotions and to release some of the pressure that is on them. So what's the other thing that we could do as parents of children that are going through puberty? Get to know his friends or her friends. Get to know their friends. And encourage him to bring the friends to your house. And so that you know them. And maybe you could initiate bringing some friends, maybe from the ones that you know, from relatives, families, or church who are of the same age. And let them, interact more together. Let them, rather create an atmosphere whereby they could realize themselves and feel more at home with their friends and with their peers than to be looking for the wrong ones in the wrong places. Another thing that could help the mother and the parents at this point is for them to be doing a lot of things by themselves, a lot of things that you would normally expect the children to do, and instead of putting too much pressure on them, try to relieve them of those pressures and do some of those things yourself, and so that they see that you are assisting them. When you assist them at this point, they really appreciate it so much. When you help them out, when you are there for them, they really appreciate that. But if they say they don't need your help, don't force yourself on them. Let them just be. Then another thing you want to do as a parent at this time is to create other interests for yourself instead of you, because sometimes during this time of puberty, another thing that parents could do is that they concentrate on those children and all their attention is on them. It's almost you are like you are hanging over them and on top of them, and they will get irritated. They don't like that. So one thing you want to do is to be less focused on them and focus on other things. Get yourself what to do. Get yourself busy. Get yourself busy doing other things that will take your attention from what your child is doing and from paying too much attention to your child at this point, and let him just be and let him have his freedom, let him have his breathing space. And it leads me to another thing that parents have to do. Give him his space. At this point, it's very important for him to have his space, and he wants to begin to have his space. So don't overhang on him. Don't overweigh him with your weight and with your presence. So give him a lot of more freedom to have his liberty. And yep. Okay. Let me see what you are writing. Stella Nuhu said, I insist my girls bring their friends home. It's safer for me. Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things to do. By the way, if you have not shared the link, if you have not yet shared this link, let's go ahead and share the link. Let's go ahead and share the link to this message. It might help you. It might help your children sometimes. Deborah said, when you begin to put too much pressure on them and get in their face, they begin to lock the door to their room. Yeah, even if you don't put too much pressure, they still begin to lock the door to their room. Olukayo, they said, parents must not be too strict at this time. Yes. Make friends with your teenagers, especially they might be misled by their counterparts. Yeah. And another thing is that you want to begin to treat them as adults and begin to teach them as friends and colleagues, as adults and as grown-ups. TY says, wow, I'm not allowed to have that conversation. Thank God schools here really teach the physical changes part. Oh, that's good. That is good. Okay, Oluka, they said, I rebelled against my father as a teenager, left the house for some days. Wow. Now I know why I did that. Wow, parents need to know these teachings. Yes. Let me tell you my own story. When God just helped me. God helped me because when I was growing up in Africa, I was, of course, already a troublesome child. And I think I was 13 or so, or 14. And I had an opportunity to attend a camp meeting. And at this camp meeting, I first of all heard about teenagers and puberty and the changes. I couldn't believe it because I was right in the middle of those changes. And I know that this man was talking about me. These people were talking about me. And thank God that I knew those changes were coming. It was just the beginning of those changes. And I was already sensing some funny things in me. But especially with the stubbornness and the disobedience and the mood swings and the willingness, the wanting to do things your own way. And I know that those things were giving me trouble, and I will be regretting them later on after I messed up. But thank God that I listened to that teaching, and I just knew, okay, so these things happen to everybody, and I should expect these things. So that was why I began to know what was happening to me, and I began to expect it. And because I expected it, I was able to prepare for it. So now, as a father, when my son started growing up, at 9, I began to talk to him about this from 9 years old. And I began to talk to the girls as well, and that they should expect it. So when the changes and the pressure comes on them, so that they will know that it is not them, or that you are not like this. You are much better than that. That these are just what hormones do to you. So it's not about you. You are good. You are nice. You are wonderful. Just control it. Just know that it's better for you to just keep quiet. Don't respond. Just for you to manage it. So I taught them how to manage. I taught them how to manage that, and so that probably helped a lot with our children. We basically, I would say, we had a stress-free time with our teenagers. We still have teenagers in the house, but we are not feeling any pressure or any problems so too much. We have a little bit of challenges with one of the girls in the school, but not much, and just rather smoothly. So so I made them to read the books about teenage years, about puberty, then we discussed it, and then but with the girls, I made sure that the mother was there for them. So the mother was mostly doing that, but. But it's important for you parents to know what's going on, and it's important also for the kids to know what's going on. TY says, I feel like Dr. Adelaja is so hard for me. I feel like it's so hard for me. It looked like I was losing my son. Wow. Afolabi said, wow, this is insightful, sir. We appreciate it. Omonika said, Pastor Sunday, yes, I agree with you. They listen to some funny music. I had to tell my daughter off during those times. No, it's not the time to tell them off. It's time to be more understanding. Because I told her I don't want to hear all those funny music apart from Christian praise and worship. Now she listens to Mary Mary and some funky Christian songs. Yeah, at that time, we just allow our son to listen to whatever he wanted to listen to, either they're Christian or they're not. We told them that, but he still listened to all others. But later on, he just dropped them gradually, and I don't even think he listens to anything anymore. He doesn't have time for that anymore. Elizabeth that says that, wow, it's good I'm listening to all these things now. Thank you, Pastor. TY, it's an ongoing battle. Watching vampire films, the boys they wanted complete freedoms. They say they are adult now. Don't tell me what to do. This is really very helpful for me, Dr. Adelaja. Yep, thank God. Sheung said both genders actually experience swing moons, yes, and some emotional tsunami. That's right. It's as a result of those hormones. Okay, now let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about the teenager themselves, what they experience and how they should cope with it. Neki Okoro, my teenage son suddenly stopped some of the things we used to do together, and he would sometimes want to keep to himself, which made me feel very bad. I now know better. Yep. See why I say we are learning, we are really learning. Wow, even today, we had a big argument with my son, and I remember the morning teaching, so I backpedal. Thank God, you have no idea how much you are helping us, sir. Thank God, thank God. Pastor, you raised a point on assisting them. How? I just spoke about how. I just spoke about how. Go and listen to this tape again. And in the morning also, I spoke a lot about how. Okay, Gladys is saying, just to be open and be friendly, discuss with them, don't instruct them, be their best friends. Yep, that's some of the things I said. Gladys says, oh my God, it's going to be tough and interesting. I promise my 16-year. After the exam Tuesday, I will play with him. Gift Amos, when I was a teenager, I loved high jump a lot, and my mother never allowed me to play with boys because then that sport was only practiced at my compound by the boys. And my will for that, and I now conclude to write on a notebook, mother is good, but my father is the best because my father never beat me. Okay? Do you understand that? Obi Ojimado, yes. Now I'm more patient with my 12-year-old daughter. I don't control her strictly like before. I rather give her space and just monitor events. I have gained her trust, and now she discusses anything with me. Wow, that's good. Okay, now let's go to Obi said, wow, I still have 7 and 10-year-old catching up. Shari says, it's important to be understood by your parents. I know for myself that I was sleeping at my friend's place during that time, almost every second day. I made sure to ask my friend's parents to ask my own so that I was able to sleep there. Yeah, because, lack of understanding could be very frustrating for the child. Margarita saying the parenting is very difficult at this period, but the love and patience helps a lot. Yep. So now let's talk about the teenagers who are going through the challenges. So what do they feel? If you are a teenager here that is going through puberty, or you are going to listen to this, maybe your parents are going to play this out to you. So let's talk. The most important thing is that to be forewarned is to be prepared. So if you are warned that these changes are going to happen, and it's not because you are bad or you are not a good child. It's just because these are some of the natural reactions that come to all people because of the hormones that will come to your system. And those hormones will cause a lot of stress, and because your body is changing so fast, and that stress in the body that is changing is also putting a lot of stress on your mind, on your brain, and on your emotions. So just know that it's normal. Everything is okay. And, make sure that you control yourself. You are more conscious, being in the here and now. Being in the here and now, it means don't respond instinctively. Don't move and respond by instinct, but live by consciously being present every moment where you are. So if you are consciously in charge of yourself, then it's easier for you to consciously respond to all the things that, all the provocations, or the things that you don't like, or the things that will anger you around you. So even if not all things make noise, make sure that you think before you act. It's not always easy, but try it. Try to always be on top of your emotions. Try to always be on top of your feelings before you act, before you give any response. And don't be afraid of those changes. Don't be afraid of them. They happen to everybody else. And since everybody survived it, so them, you are going to survive your own too. So, like I said, the reason for most of the changes and the feelings that you are going to be having is as a result of hormonal changes. Those hormonal changes don't just change your body, but they change the way you think, and they affect your thinking process. They affect because they are adjusting you from a child into becoming an adult. They also affect your emotions. They also come in and affect your emotions. And because the changes that are happening in your body, the hairs that are growing up, the pudding and the pudding and the growth of your body that are happening, they are not just happening from nowhere. They are chemical reactions happening. So that's why you are going to have emotions, because those changes are happening in your body. You're going to have feelings, emotions, different feelings and emotions. So your body is actually adjusting to the hormones, and as the process of the adjustment is going on, you'll be having some different feelings that you don't understand, and the frustration that you don't understand what is happening, and you don't even know what you want at the particular time. You are just thinking you are behaving normally, but to people around you, they might happen. They might say you are rude, for example, and you think you are not rude. You just answer normally. They might think you are disobedient, or you don't even feel like obeying at times, or you just feel like doing things your own way, and you'll be thinking you are right. So that's one of the challenges of this period. As a girl or as a boy, you might be thinking that you are right most of the time, and most of the time you'll be thinking that your parents are wrong. But it's not because either they are wrong or you are right. It's just because that's just the period, and just so underemphasize your rightness, underemphasize you being the correct one, and emphasize your desire to pull away from the family, to be independent or autonomous. Underemphasize those things and know that those things are just some of the natural things that will come to you as a teenager that is experiencing puberty. But trying to make sense of some of the things that you are going through might also be a challenge, because you have to adapt to yourself, because you are not used to reacting like that, and you'll be wondering, and this could bring some anxiety and confusion, that this is not me. I know I don't respond like that. I know better, but you know better, but you'll not always be able to behave the way you know, because of the pressure that is coming upon your body. So, just expect those things, and when you expect them, then you'll be able to redirect them and be able to be on top of them. So, like I said, you are going to have sometimes feelings and emotions that don't always make sense, because hormones are changing your body, they are changing your brain, and you are beginning to think differently and respond differently to different situations that you would have known how to respond to before. Okay, the other thing that you should expect are the puberty changes. The puberty changes, as the puberty causes or will cause a lot of change in you, in your body. Of course, you have heard about that, in your feelings, in your emotions. And those changes could make you very uncomfortable sometimes, uncomfortable with yourself, even thinking that you are not beautiful or you are not handsome. Might not like yourself. You might not like exactly the way you are growing, or you are evolving, or you might think that your friends are better than you, or they are growing better, or they have better results. Especially men, they might be saying that, oh, that other boy is growing taller than me, or why am I always growing bigger muscles? Or even the girls might have challenges that, oh, she has bigger breasts, why am I having smaller one, or things like that. So some of these things might be some of the challenges that you have to deal with, but it's just normal for everybody, and everybody will pass through the process, and they will all come out fine. Sometimes you might not even realize how much pressure you are going through. Sometimes you just think you are okay, but you will just be sensing a lot of discomfort, and you are uncomfortable with yourself, sometimes with others. Sometimes you don't want to even be with people, or you don't want to be with the family. You don't want to do the normal things that you normally would do together. So you could convince yourself, whenever you feel one way. One of the scriptures that I used to talk to my son was Galatians chapter 5. That the spirit wants, the body always desires the opposite of what the spirit wants. And that, so whenever your body leads you one direction, know that that's exactly the opposite of what your spirit wants to do. So follow the spirit and rule over your body at this particular time. And that is at the time when we teach them to manage and rule over their body through using the spirit, the superiority of the spirit to rule over the body. Now, sometimes you might even feel, especially for the ladies, that this is not your body. You know yourself, you know who you are, and then you might feel weird and strange in your own body because you begin to have all these things that you never used to have before. Even the boys sometimes might feel like that, that you are not the same person again. And that could cause a lot of worry that, will you ever be able to accept yourself? Sometimes some girls might even be finding it difficult to accept themselves, and some boys too. But it's something you should get used to, and that you know that it's a process of growth and you are evolving, and that it's just something that you get over, and you are going to grow and mature into full grown up woman by the age of 19 or 20, and the same thing with the girl, with the boy as well. At least till 18, that process is going to continue. So those ages between 12 and 18 are probably the most challenging for young people. So get ready that even till the age of 18, your behaviors might not be the best you want to be, but it will begin to lift from 18, and that's when you begin to prepare for college, for university. So things will be much better and relief that time. So because of these hormones and things like that, school could be difficult. Schools could be difficult because you might not feel like studying as much, and but if you know what your priorities, and if you put your priorities right, you do well. You'll be able to know that, okay, this is what I am now. I'm a student right now, so I have to do what I need to do. If you have issues in your school or in your classes, because you might not, yes, if before the teachers used to be the absolute authority to you, you used to respect them and do everything the way they wanted. Now you want to do things your own way. You want to argue with some teachers, or you think that some teachers are not good enough, and things like that. But when you are aware of these things, it's easier for you to control them. Sometimes you could feel anxiety or nervous, or but that is also normal, and just don't entertain fear. Make sure that you are in charge and God is with you. And if you find things difficult, just go and talk to your parents. Make sure that you trust your parents at this time, especially that you are able to talk to them and open to them. And if you find it difficult to open to your parents, or you can find some aunt or some cousins or some uncles of the same sex and talk to them about these changes and about these experiences. That might be a good idea as well, or maybe to your teachers. So everybody experiences all these things, and just know that it's your own time and you are going to come out of it successfully. Okay. Yeah. TY is saying, at 14, having a G cup boobs is challenging. I'm serious. Not me alone, but yeah. Yeah, the most important thing is that you are not afraid of these changes and this situation, and you are able to be on top of it and control the process. And another thing that could help the young people at this time is sports. Sports, social life, active social life. Not social life like discotheque or things like maybe church, being involved in the church life, youth group, being involved with, praise and worship, music team, and things like that. Could be theater group. All those things could be very helpful as well. Yeah, so I hope I've been able to help some of you. So many things to talk about, but it's a sensitive topic. So tomorrow morning I will be talking about how to manage how to parent 18-year-olds, how to parent 18-year-olds. But for now, I hope I hope this was able to help. And what do? Let's go and share the link to this video. Let's go and share the link. Under this video, you'll be able to have the share button. Let's go press the share button and keep it, because when you share it, it comes to your platform, to your timeline, and you'll be able to watch it again and again, and you'll be able to even give it to your children to watch, or other people in your family might be able to watch that. So let me see some of the comments you are writing here. TY said, okay, he's talking to Nikki. Shioma is saying, thanks, Pastor, for these teachings. I feel as if this series was specifically packaged for me because my boys are just 2.5 years and 4 years. You have all that ahead of you, and they will get all their trainings from these teachings. God bless you. You have made parenting easy for me. Yep. Thank God. Yeah, Gladys is saying that my son has been asking me for years to play with him, but I can't get out of stress. But now I've promised that after his exam, I'm going to play with him. Actually, one of the things that you have to do with your kids at this time is to take them out. Take them out to, to play, to sports, to restaurant. Take them out, play with them more, especially at this time. Do things with them. If not, they'll go and be looking for people outside to do that with them. And Monica said, Pastor Sunday, yes, they always compare themselves with their schoolmates. Well, yeah. My daughter used to think that she doesn't look all right. I always tell her she looks beautiful. Elizabeth said, wow, if I only knew these things. Huh? TY, yes, Dr. Adelaja, some girls, okay. Deborah is saying, Deborah Cole, what can you do to help a girl going through cycle pain and can't cope with school? I think they have to go to the doctor. You have to go to the doctor and see a specialist in that case, really. TY said, you have already helped so much, sir. Thank you. Dr. Sufficient has put an article, my latest article here about MMM Nigeria. Today I wrote another article about MMM Nigeria. I told you about it in the morning. Today's article was getting to know the blind that are leading the blind. Getting to know the leaders, the promoters or the front of MMM Nigeria. So today I was not just exposing them, but today's article is actually for thinking people. So the MMM article today is for thinking people. It's not just to expose the guys, but to also make people think why that is bad and how bad it is, that it is actually worse. Crimes like that are not physical are actually worse than crimes that are physical. So what is worse than a physical armed robbery or something or bank robbery is a crime that destroys trust, a crime that is based on deceit, deception, and impersonation, and things that break down trust in the family, in the community, because trust is the basis on which a society is built. And if that foundation of the society is destroyed, and nothing destroys the foundation of the society like betrayal of trust. And that is exactly what those people do. They betray the trust of the closest people to them. So it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. I don't know if you people are able to read it. If not, go check in the on my Facebook here. It's somewhere on the page Facebook here, or it's on my blog as well. Go check them. Go check for the articles. You might find them interesting, I think. Not just because of this MMM, but just to be able to escape easy life, or, trying to get something for nothing. And it's going to be educational for you, really. It's going to be challenging, critical thinking kind of article, and challenging. Okay, Flyer says, parenting is really a full-time job. Now you understand why I said I would not allow my wife to, when she's having children, to be working. It doesn't make any sense. It's full-time job. If you don't know how to do this, you are in trouble. We should be ready for this child business before going into it. You see now you are talking. That's why you must make your money before the children begin to come, and you make sure that you could provide for your wife to be able to take care of them and to be with them. Preparation and anticipation is important. Thank God we can learn with books, experience, and teachings like this. Monica said, thanks so much for this teaching, Pastor Sunday. I have really learned a lot. God bless you, sir. Okay, Dr. Salvation is also making an announcement about HMT that is coming up in January from 2nd to the 6th. If you want to come, follow that link or read that information. You'll be able to get there. Lola Ina said, my 17-year-old son is going through this. He's so stressed out and thought he's having ADHD until I brought him to the doctor, and the doctor told him all these things you are saying, sir. God bless you for this. Elizabeth Ali, Pastor, I'm just shaking my head because my son is only 4 now, but I feel like it's been 20 years. Walk Dale. Yeah. TY say, yes, the pressure for girls are amazing. From how they look physically to what they wear, they change so much. Their self-esteem takes such a bashing. Thank you so much for this teaching, my mentor. Abraham, great. Pastor, I've been reading the MMM articles. It made me to see that many in Nigeria have given up on developing values. They just want to make money no matter who it will hurt. It is so bad. Yes, and many people even are justifying them. Even pastors come on and tell me, why should you be condemning MMM and the people who are involved with it? You should condemn the government, and that it is because of the poverty, or it's because of the economic hardship, and that if there had not been economic hardship, there would be no something like that. No, I said, no, it's not because of economic hardship. It's because of lack of value. It's because of lack of value. It's because of lack of value. Elizabeth Ali, thank you so much for helping us prepare for the next generation. We love you a lot. Thank you. Agape said, you are right, Pastor. There was a time I followed my girl to the doctor because she was losing weight because she was cutting her diet down and she didn't want to talk. I asked if I should go out so she could relate with the doctor. I excused them, but at the end of, after the doctor checked her and discussed, she said it was all right. Not that I cannot deal with her, but sometimes it's better to take professional or third party to get involved. Yep. TY says, I love your articles on MMM. It's so tragic, the spiral effect on the society, and yet you seem to be the only one doing that is giving a detailed exposure to on it. God bless you. Monica, Pastor Sunday, yes, I'm still reading the MMM thing. It's so voluminous. I will finish reading it after this session, Pastor Sunday. I really admire you and respect you a lot. You are a genius. God bless you. Gladys, yes, I promise to do much with them, one after the other, my children. Thanks so much. Because of you, I now know my full duty as a mother. My job description is not just to supply them their needs, but also to be there for them. Wow. Yes, unfortunately, that's the most important thing, and that's what people don't give them. They don't give them availability. They just give them things. Pearl David is here. I read it. She's talking about the MMM article. I read it and shared it, sir. Though tragic, it is encouraging that Nigeria is not ready to listen to the practical teachings of God's principle. They're just the only religion. Many believers are scared because it seems like it is a war against everyone, but honestly, the foolishness gives me hope that we must start all over as a nation with basic principles. Yeah, thank God. Lola Ina said, and you are very right about the sport as well. The only sport my son loves is wrestling. I never liked him to do it until I heard you saying it's good for the boys. Yes, it's very good. You just have to see the joy on his face whenever he's going to the ring. God help you. I'm great. Our first son is nearly 12. My wife worked for like 2 years, but I stopped her since. So both of us are not too busy to raise our children. That is one of the greatest decisions you could take as a parent. It has worked as they have been a source of joy to us. I pray we stay faithful to raising our children ourselves. Sandra says, Pastor, may God continue to strengthen you and continue to, as you continue to unveil the truth to us. Thank you so much. Sheung Oluwatope, Pastor, you finished Mavrodi and his people through those your articles. Paul David, thank you, sir, for the information. Deacon Egbon Morris, you are just coming in and we are just finishing. We are just finishing. So see you guys tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. I will be back. And like I said, Saturday evening, Pastor Sufficient will be my guest after our Ask show. And our books are coming out tomorrow, so you want to get your copy before the discount goes off. TY say, my biggest pain is that pastors don't just verbally encourage people on these pyramid schemes. Some actually facilitate the schemes by making their members enroll. Ooh, wow. Lola Shoronke say, thank you, Pastor Sunday. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And it's been nice and fun. So that was a challenging topic for me to do today. That was a challenging topic because, sensitive and, I'm an old man now and I'm talking about those young girls and boys things. Florence Oluwawumi, thanks, Pastor Sunday. Thank you, too. Well, nice to having talking to you people. Have a wonderful evening. God bless.